Hi YouTube, it's Mama Doe Dawn, and it is the end of July, which means it is time for my July budget recap. This month, one of my goals was kind of to get back on track of keeping track of all of my purchases as I was buying things throughout the month, and I did. As I've showed you guys before, I have like a calendar page in my planner that I just, every single day if I spend money, I get on and then write down exactly what I spent. This month, I was way over budget, like the most over budget I have been ever in my debt-free journey that I've made videos about. And I'm a little embarrassed to go through all of this because a lot of these things are things that like I could have just not spent money on. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead, go over it, and then talk about it. And what I usually do with you guys is I just go through and I read exactly what I spent on each day. I just feel like that's the easiest thing to do, and I look down and read it because that's like the simplest thing to do. So let's go ahead and get started. On the second I went out, I spent $100 on groceries and $40 on fuel. Then on the third, I got an oil change, which cost $75. I did not have that budgeted, but it was like necessary. Like my check engine light came on and everything. I needed an oil change. So that was one of the necessary purchases I made. $30 for litter on the 4th. I'm stocked up on cat food, so I didn't have to buy cat food this month, just litter. Then on the 5th, I lended $350 to a friend. They have paid back $200 of that, but $150 is still just kind of floating around out there. So that's money lost at the moment. Then later that week on the 9th, I spent $25 on fast food. And this is kind of when things started to go downhill for me. This month, I was so stressed about money. I felt like no matter how hard I was working on my business, it wasn't getting back to 100%. The economy cannot support my business at 100%. It can support it at like 50%. So this month, stress just really got the best of me, and I started stress eating, which is an issue that I've had in the past. I actually had pretty severe bulimia for 2 years. So the fact that this is a habit that I'm diving back into is really alarming, and going through my budget has really made me aware of how serious the problem is, because this is not the first and only day that I spent money on fast food. So it started on the 9th. I went out, I got $25 fast food. I can't even tell you what I bought. Like, I do not know what I ate that day. That's how many times I bought fast food throughout the month. On the 10th, I spent $10 on a video on Amazon Prime for Charlotte. Basically, I was just having a really bad night. I just wanted her to be able to watch a cartoon, and nothing was working on the rental side of Amazon Prime for some reason. So it's like, whatever, I'll just buy something. And I did. On the 11th, I bought fuel again. And then on the 12th, I bought $40 of fuel again. So 2 days in a row, I bought $40 of fuel. I bought a lot of fuel this month, and I think that's because I traveled to see a friend a couple times, and then Charlotte's dad traveled in, and I kind of cover some of the costs when he comes in. One of them is like going and picking him up from the airport and driving him and Charlotte around. So I spent a lot of money on gas for that. On the 14th, I spent $12 on diapers. On the 16th, I had a medical bill come in for $140. On the 17th, I spent another $25 on fuel. On the 18th, $15 of fast food. On the 19th, $60 of fast food, which was split between Charlotte's dad and I. On the 20th, $10 of fast food. On the 21st, another $40 of gas. On the 22nd, $10 of fast food. On the 27th, $10 of fast food. And on the 29th, $40 of gas. Now let's go through the totals. So total this month, I spent $200 on fuel, which was $120 over budget. $100 on groceries, which was $60 over budget. $30 on pets, which was under budget by $10. $25 on Charlotte, which was under budget by $75, but a lot of the fast food was for both her and I, so when you kind of account for the two of us, some of the Charlotte budget could have been thrown into that, but I feel like that's not really what I want to do because I want to hold myself accountable for all that fast food. I want to realize that it literally was not budgeted in. So I tallied that up separately. And then in my other category, how much extra money I spent this month. $75 on the oil change, necessary. Didn't have it budgeted though. $150 to a friend. $100 of that I was paying them to help me do things, so I actually spent $250 on that friend. $130 on fast food. $140 on a medical bill that I also did not have budgeted. That put me at other extra expenses of $595, which means I was over budget by $685 this month. To say I'm really disappointed in myself is an understatement. The fact that I began stress eating again, and this is an issue that I have dealt with, like literally had therapy for in the past, is alarming and disturbing and embarrassing. And I debated not even making a budget video this month because I did not want to talk about the fact that I spent $130 on fast food and I have groceries. I'm living with my parents. They are cooking a lot of meals. Like I spent $100 on groceries, which is already over budget on groceries. But I was just trying to basically I made a lot of food for Charlotte within that. She's a very picky eater, so I've been experimenting with different things that way, but that's beside the point. The point is that I just spent way too much money this month and I am so mad at myself. We've gone over the fluctuating costs. Let's go over all of the things that I spent money on that I typically spend money on every single month. My phones were $280, spent $280. Car lease $400, car insurance $100, as I explained in every single budget recap video. I pay my car insurance in advance, 6 months in advance to get the discount, but every single month I put some away in savings, so it's all just ready to be paid. Without having to pour out $600 one month. It all just goes in $100 increments over 6 months. Personal loan minimum payment was $400. I paid that. Business loan minimum payment was $310. Paid that. Credit card minimum payment was $200. Paid that. Furniture loan minimum payment was $125. I paid that. So let's move on to my debt. Thing is, I was able to do a bunch of work this month and somehow squeeze out enough money to cover all of my extra expenses to where I did not tack on any additional debt. Thank goodness. So my debt isn't higher, but it definitely is not as low as it could be had I not just unabashedly, that's not even the right word, just spent money stupidly. Let's go over my debts. My personal loan started at $10,000. It is now down to $9,700. Credit card started at $2,900. It went down to $2,800. Such a low dip. Definitely not enough. That is one that I am trying to put a lot of extra money towards right now, and that didn't happen. Business loan went from $1,320 to $1,010. Furniture loan went from, so I had budgeted $675 was the number that I thought I was at. I was actually at $550. That was my starting debt. So it went from $550 to $425. And the loan from my dad went from $4,690 to $4,680. Only $10, but that's more than other months where I've put $0 to that. My phones and my car, as I explained to you guys in the past, these two loans I don't really have exact numbers on because I'm lazy and I need to look them up. But my phones I'm estimating at about $2,000. My car I'm estimating about $30,000. Both of those loans are just not even being worried about right now. I'm paying minimum payments on them, but until I get these 5 other loans that are very pressing out of the way, I'm just pretending those two don't exist because it's easier on my mind. That means my total starting debt was $51,585. Hold on, Kiddo. And my ending debt was $50,615, which means I put $970 to debt this month. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad I put $900 something to debt, but it could have been over $1,500 to debt had I just not spent stupidly. Granted, some of those things I had to spend money on, the medical bill and the car oil change, but fast food and the amount of fuel, I'm so mad. And then lending my friend money, which hopefully they're going to pay me back, but that's money out of my pocket right now. And I made a video about that, and then I deleted the video because I didn't want the friend to feel attacked, because they do watch my YouTube channel. But just money is so tight right now, and then the amount of stupid financial decisions that I made is embarrassing. It's seriously embarrassing. And I just came up with enough money to cover my bills next month because, as you guys know, I like pay myself a month in advance. I could have been sitting a lot better, a lot more comfortable if I didn't go out and make so many stupid financial decisions. And I get that I am extremely stressed right now. I am sick of living with my parents. I've been here 3 months. I thought that my business would have been back by now. I had the very high hopes that the coronavirus would magically disappear in the summertime and the economy would get better and my business would be up and running 100% and things would just get better. Charlotte, okay, 1 minute. The point is that this was not a good month for me. This is the worst month that I've recorded and put on YouTube. I had some really bad months where I didn't even record this last winter, but this is like the first really bad month where I've kept myself accountable, where I know the exact numbers of what I spent, where I am seeing my bad habits kind of erupt back up again and then causing financial hardship in the process. And I'm really disappointed with myself. Just in like so many ways, in the fact that I'm impulsively spending money, in the fact that I'm impulsively eating, in the fact that I am obviously not coming up with healthy mechanisms to cope with stress, and I'm using money and food to do that. And yeah, that's not good. The great thing about doing a budget, the great thing about keeping track of these kinds of things is that you can see your issues, you can address your issues, and the next month is always a clean slate. You can always start fresh, and in August, that's what I plan to do. Just start fresh. Tomorrow is a new day. It's the start of a new month, and absolutely no fast food throughout the entire month. And I'm going to increase my fuel budget a little bit because I do drive Charlotte around to parks and stuff, and that is causing some extra money to be spent there. But definitely not going to be as much money as I spent this month. I'm going to be a lot more careful with it, and I'm just going to be way more aware of my spending and really hold myself accountable in the fuel department and definitely the fast food department, and try to come up with healthier mechanisms for handling stress over this next month. And maybe I'll get on and like share a video with you guys of some of the ideas that I'm working out in that way of how I'm dealing with financial stress without spending money, which is like the stupidest way to handle financial stress. But I know other people struggle with that. It's just a really common thing. You feel so out of control of it, and spending money makes you feel better sometimes. So really disappointed with myself this last month, but August is a new day. August is a new, clean, fresh slate. August is a new budget, and I plan on sticking to it and really holding myself accountable, because this month was such a disappointment. I do not want to relive that in my budget recap next month. So I will see you guys on here tomorrow for my single mom budget for the month of August. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.